everybody. This is SP. Welcome to Powerful Impact. We got Morgan chilling with us in the corner over there, and the man behind the blue wall, Nev. How y'all doing?
What's
I'm
good,
good,
SP?
Husky.
What's up,
Good.
SP?
And our special guest today is PATTY HONCHO and Numbz. How are you guys?
Good, blessed.
Good, good. How you?
How you doing?
I'm here. You know, when it's this hot, all you can be is here.
Her.
It, it is seriously hot as balls down here. I can't. Nobody comes outside till after 7 o'clock in Texas, unless you
AKA Monkey Nuts.
unless you have to work. You don't come outside. So I'm gonna start how I normally start. This is for both of y'all. Where are you from, and how does that impact the way you make music?
I'm from Patterson, New Jersey. Um, it impacts it. Just the area that surrounds you is definitely going to impact your art, regardless of where you are. I feel like it impacts it in a positive way for sure. It's a vast majority of things that I could speak about in regards to where I'm from. So it's definitely a positive outcome.
Yeah, I'm from Newark, New Jersey. Probably like a half an hour from where Patty grew up, and the same. You know, what I'm saying that the areas that we grew up in, you kind of gotta be on point. Um, and like the surround, like you just it's like watching a movie. Sometimes a lot of stuff you see, a lot of stuff you hear. Certain people that you grew up with doing certain
Mm-hmm.
things, or and then just figuring out how to maneuver through situations. I think it teach you how to be street smart, teach you how to fill people out. You know what I'm saying? Because you deal with a lot of different characters and stuff like that. As far as just like impact, like just people I grew up listening to, whether it was like
Mm-hmm.
Redman, Mobb Deep. Obviously they from New York, but like those type of East Coast sounds. And not that you try to be like them, but you hear enough of it, you definitely influenced by the sound.
So, okay, you from Patterson and you from Newark. How are they alike, and which ways are they different? And do y'all share some of the same influences? Let's start
Um,
with Patty.
Right. I would say they're like just, the similarities, how it's like, a corner store, every block is just like,
Mm-hmm.
it's people that gonna be outside and stuff like that. It's different just geographically, really, like one's further away. There's not
Mm-hmm.
really too many differences. Newark is bigger, if you want to say that. Newark is huge, but it's not really too many differences, I would say.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty similar. Like you got the size of Newark is bigger. You got the same characters, whether it's there or other hoods in Jersey. Um, but as far as differences, I mean, outside of geographically and maybe a little bit, Patterson probably has more of a Hispanic demographic than Newark does,
Right.
but even all that's changing daily,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not really much of a difference, honestly.
I have a question. Like, do the cities ever have rivalries and stuff? Like, like are competitive? Like this crew's kind of not against that crew, or hip hop artists from different cities kind of rep and have, I don't want to say beef, but like versus.
Uh, I don't know. I don't be keeping track of that honestly, but it be some everybody got beef in their own city, like whether it's a rapper or it's regular people, but I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm not on that type of time where I'm too involved in that. I would imagine, things can happen if you out at an event, out at a party, but I don't think it's an intentional like North versus Patterson thing. I mean, if it happens, but yeah, I really wouldn't know.
And do you think the sound is different from each city?
I don't think so.
Nah. It got to seem like the people that's trying to rap, they got that they sound, the boom bap type, if you want to call it conscious or whatever, and then they got the drill or what I mean, trap rap. Like it sounds much the same, pretty much the same all around.
I mean, SB, just quick question for you. Like, do you think that there's a different sound between Dallas versus Houston?
Yeah,
It's like distinct.
to me it is, but I live here, so yeah, for me. Yeah, it's a difference. It's a difference between Austin and Dallas and Houston. But this is Texas, so you got to remember
A lot of
we not
space.
we not like right on top of each other. Houston is 200 miles away from San Antonio. Dallas is like 400 miles away from San Antonio. Austin is probably the closest city. It's about 100 miles from San Antonio. See, we ain't all on top of each other, so it's very seldom that we're easily influenced one from the other.
So let me ask you one last question on this geographic thing, Patty and Numbs. Do you think it's like quote unquote outsiders, people from another state? Can you hear the difference between the Queens, the Brooklyn, the Bronx? Can you hear the difference between the New York rappers based on their quote unquote geographics or demographics?
Mm, sometimes, yeah, it depends, and sometimes you can't tell.
Yeah, it really depends on the person. I guess you could like the only difference you might be able to hear is like somebody from Harlem. Like you could say maybe they're a little bit more flashy or
Hmm.
something like that. But yeah, I mean not really.
Yes, even
Especially now, like everybody sounds like everybody. You got New
Yeah.
York people that sound like they're from the South, and maybe back in the day it was a little bit more distinct, but now definitely not.
yes. And then again with New York, y'all are kind of like right there. You know what I mean? It's not like it's any distance for y'all to hear each other.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Back in the day, I used to be like kind of shocked with the Long
e-
Island cats.
even now, some Dallas radio stations won't play Houston music, and some Houston radio stations don't play a lot of Dallas music. And it just we too far removed from each other to have those kind of. That's probably why they always fighting. They go if one they you from Dallas, and then they want to beat them up, that kind of shit. So I guess Texas, really, the cities are like a state and within themselves.
Right.
This is for both of y'all, but I guess we'll start with Numbs. Numbs, how did you get your name? Does it have any a special meaning?
Yeah, so like when I was growing up, it was like the time doing like all the mobster movies. So it's like, Goodfellas and Godfather and Casino, all those songs. So when I first started rapping, I was like 13. It was like my name was like Nicky Numbers. Like that was the basis of it. It was kind of like, not necessarily the dude that's kind of like out in front, but like the kind of guy that's like low key, but he still can get to
Mm,
it. You know what I'm saying? And then I shortened that and went to Nicky Numbz, and then it went to Nick Numbz, and then it just went to Numbz. So I've been through like a bunch of different transformations of the name, and it just when I got back to rapping again after a layoff, I was just like I'm just Numbz. Like that's what all my friends call me.
mm-hmm.
That's what all my friends from college call me, and a good amount of people that I just know in general call me that. So that's what I went with when I returned.
And Patty?
Yeah, that's dope. I never knew that. But yeah, one time I responsibly took shrooms and I had like I had like just a great time, and that's how I came up with the name. I was gonna change it. It was a lot of times I was gonna change it because a lot of honchos started surfacing and things like that. But I don't know, the variation Patty and Honcho together. There's nobody else, so I just kept it. You
I was gonna say it's pretty unique. Like I don't think Like when you hear that, like I'm not thinking of anybody else, but you. I mean, obviously, it's your name, but like you said, the different variations of it. So it's great that it's so unique. I mean, Numbz is too. Like you don't hear anybody like that either. So that helps
That's
you stick
Nicky
out.
Numbz.
Appreciate
You know, I want to give a shout out to mushrooms for a minute. Magic mushrooms, Cypress of Venice, because this is probably the first time that's ever been brought up on this show, and I don't feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't feel like enough hip hop artists in general like big up the magic mushroom, Cypress of Venice. So shout out to the magic mushroom. Right, Patty Honcho? Like, I think we need. Can we elaborate a little bit more on these magic mushrooms? Anybody in the room? Because I haven't heard enough about that in hip hop. We hear about the weed, we hear about the weed,
Yeah, right.
and all that. But yeah, let's talk about the magic mushroom.
Yeah, like I feel like if you're in the right mind state and you responsibly do it, it could be very beneficial for you. Like it's a whole experience. Like it's not just something you just doing to get high or whatever the case may be. So you just gotta look at it in different ways. Do your research and things like that. Don't just take it.
And don't operate heavy machinery, right?
Hell no.
And
Right.
don't make the mistake that they go on your salad and end up naked in the front yard thinking the sky is going to fall on top of you.
It
That's
seems pretty
crazy.
specific.
Right.
Sounds like personal experience.
Yeah, she tapped into a memory.
Yeah.
It's very spiritual too. Very spiritual.
Yeah. Hey, 18 to 28 was fun.
Mushroom. I've climbed the highest mountain.
That's what you're supposed to do. When you 18, from 18 to 28, you just practicing to be an adult.
Wait,
And
Powaful
by the
Impak is
time
not promoting drug use, but
yeah, by the time you 28, then you be like, okay, I'm tired now. It's time to do something else. But
graduate to more drugs.
you should enjoy your 20s because that's the only time you still limber.
Nothing breaks. You funny.
But I mean, do you? I think you said you're using it responsibly. Is that part of your process at all, in like creative process, or is it just like a one-time thing that?
Thanks,
Right.
Morgan.
It wasn't. It wasn't a one-time thing, but I haven't done it in like over like a year and some change, or I don't know when the last. I think it was like probably a year and a half, but I definitely did it more than one time though. But it was micro. I do micro. I used to do like micro doses and things like that, and then start hopping the booth or whatever. But as far as needing it or using it to make any type of art, that's not never into play. No.
I guess Numbz has no response to that. He's like silent.
I mean, he's doing. I mean,
I
the
have-
first thing he says, using it responsibly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You do what you do.
I don't like to feel. I don't like to see shit. So
You got to
That's-
take a lot. You got to take a lot to see things.
I was
do
watching
you
that.
really?
Yeah.
Goddamn.
A whole salad worth?
You took a lot.
Yeah, because I sprinkled them on my salad. I didn't know what they were.
Just
They told me they had
mushroom.
mushroom. You tell me you have mushrooms and we having salad. Where do you think? Where else am I supposed to think they supposed to go?
Right.
You don't tell me what kind of mushroom. You say I got some mushrooms. Like cool. I sprinkled them on the salad and yeah, that's no bueno.
Yeah, that wasn't presented. That wasn't presented well.
No, it wasn't presented well at all. I'm still mad at that bastard. I'll talk to him right now today. From 18 and I'm damn near 50. I'm 50.
So you guys have some music coming up, right?
Yes.
Together. How did and this isn't the first time, obviously, because you had Numbz, you had Patty on your self-produced album, One Man Band. But like,
Yeah.
how did you guys come together? Like initially,
All right, P, you want to do it?
Yeah, yeah. So I was on Twitter, you know, just scrolling, and I saw Numbz. Me and Numbz, we have the same birthday, June  24th, and he dropped a project called 40 on his 40th birthday. And I listened to it, and I'm like, I never even thought of like meeting a rapper with the same birthday as me or whatever. It just never came to my mind. So I just saw it on Twitter, and I listened to his joint, and it was hard. So we just followed each other, and then the relationship grew from there.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I think he tagged me in a freestyle, and I was just like, I went to his page, and I saw his birthday too, so it was dope. And his birthday. At that point, I don't even think he had anything on like DSPs either. So I went to the SoundCloud link and checked like the whole Brawler series, and I was just like, because and then I DM'd him. I think he was like, I forget. He was like, I turned 23 the same day. He turned 40, something like that. And then I was just like 23. Like I was just amazed because the stuff he's saying, like he's like, I tell him all the time, he's like an old soul. Like even some of the stuff he says, on the upcoming album or whatever. So at this point, I wasn't even producing music. I just started producing music in August. Um, so you know, I I think the next thing we did was 624 for Noise in the Hood. So I was like, and I'm gonna keep it real because I was like, I thought like, I was listening. I'm like, this guy's gonna be, he's gonna blow up. Like it's gonna happen. And I tell Patty all the time, like, yo, you the future. So I'm all the time like, that's little bro for real. So I'm like, let me get a song in. If I'm being totally transparent, I said, let me get a song with him before he just explodes because I know it's gonna happen. So we did the song, got the song back to me quick, and we just, just start building from there. And once I started producing, he was one of the first people that I reached out to just like let him know I was doing it before I even put it out to the public. And then eventually we just, we got one beat that he really liked. This is probably like in February or something like that, and just kind of start working from there.
But
So me and Marquis reviewed Brawlers 5, which was fucking fire.
thank you.
It
Appreciate
was mad dope.
you.
Uh, and when I found out how old he was, I told Marquis I could just fly down there and just shake the shit out of him. But making this
It's crazy.
at his age, I'm so mad at him that I don't have any kind of talent at all.
Aw.
You definitely got talent, SP. Don't be
Yeah.
so hard on yourself.
That album is dope. Can you kind of talk about the concept of the Brawler series? Because since he mentioned it, I heard Brawler 5 and then I went back and listened to the rest of the series.
It's
And
crazy.
I'm glad I did because shit, I loved every last one of them.
Boom!
So
Thank you.
how did you come up with the concept of that series?
Right. So, Brawler is an acronym. It stands for brutal resentment awaits when losers envy real. And I probably was watching some boxing highlights or something like, and I just was thinking like I want to do like a boxing themed tape, you know, and that's how generally how the concept came up. When I first started doing it, Brawler 1 through 4, I barely knew any like producers, or I barely had like followers on Twitter and things like that. And I was just getting beats from YouTube. I was digging. I was finding the beats that only had like 200 views, and then they said that it was free to use, and they were fire. They had to be fired. That was the first, obviously. But I yeah, so I found mad beats, and I made 1 through 4, Brawler 1 through 4, and I got some good traction off that. I got some decent followers and stuff like that, and I'm like, hey, it's probably time to drop on DSPs. So I dropped Cherish the Hunger first, and I linked up with Greenery and a couple of the guys that I went to school with over here. That make beats now, and made that one. And me and Greenery, we clicked together so well. We made Brawler 5. The green that's the whole thing is produced by Greenery Beats. And yeah, he one of the best producers that I've met, you know. He's super dope. Greenery is crazy.
Yeah,
So
yes.
that's how that came together, just watching boxing really. And then I made a series.
Yeah, the wordplay in that series is ridiculous. And if I had thought about it, I would have pulled up all of my notes from both of y'all's albums, because I still go through those notes when I'm listening to y'all albums and say, I
Mm.
should have said this right here.
Word. Yeah, you know, I had to touch those beats up. Greenery one of the best.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it was ridiculous.
And then, so you guys have something coming up, right? When is that set to release?
June 24th.
On our birthdays, of course.
So is it just produced by you, Numbz, or is it like you're both rapping on it, and like what's the setup there? If you want to give that away.
Nah, that's all him. I'm just producing it. You know, I was very involved in the process as far as like rollout. Patty's a great listener. Like that's what I learned most about him is like, you know, he knows he's a good rapper. He knows, but he leaned on me on certain things and just like deferred to me on certain things so he could just rap. You know, as far as every like the rollout, like, and I hope he learned some stuff from me, like how in depth like this process is, like when you really doing it right. Like I look at people roll out albums, I'm just like, yo,
Right.
you dropping when Kendrick dropping? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you promoting your single when you know J. Cole dropping or when Drake dropping. I mean, you say what you want about Drake, but like he gonna be all over the timeline, good or bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I'm very strategic, you know, when I do my releases, when I promote stuff like that. So, you know, I wanted to kind of like, you know, put him on that part of it too, because it's like the music is the easy part, right? It's like there's a business
Right.
side of it, there's a rollout side of it. Like he can rap, so that's easy, you know. But like to get to that point, you know, I think a lot of people don't understand even like how they post links. Like I see people like post just their Spotify links, and it's just like, yo, like I listen on Apple or I listen on Spotify, and like stuff like that is like there's so much. I'm getting on a tangent, but like there's so much competition on a timeline, just say, right? And
Right.
like for you to make somebody take an extra step, they may listen to the next person because they had to search your name. You had a name like somebody else. Like, all right, well, I'm going to the fourth album in line, and that's it. So, you know, just little stuff like that. But like, yeah, just production and a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
What was? Oh, I was just saying. I may have missed it. Did you have a title out that what you were promoting for? Like, what is the name?
It's
You missed the
called Life.
rollout.
It's called what?
It's called Life.
It's called Life.
Yeah, which is another acronym for living irrationally, fighting every day.
Oh, so you
I'm
didn't see the
excited.
cover. So you didn't see the cover then?
I haven't seen the cover.
Yeah, I gotta DM you that.
Yeah, you have to. Like sometimes stuff gets, when stuff just gets buried on my timeline sometimes. And I was going to bring that up about because I see you guys around Twitter a lot, and we like to talk about sometimes about the supporting other artists, and that's something that we've noticed on with you guys. Like there's this little group of artists there on Twitter that some of us all follow, and how well you guys support each other. It's like there's a little competition there, but on the most part, it's all about uplifting one another on your platforms. I mean, how do you feel about social media as as a way of promoting your music and helping others?
I think it's dope. I met a couple, a lot of dope artists, and I met a couple people that I could probably call, like, what I mean, people like real friends online at least, that I could hit them up and rely on them, whether it's like some music share, even if we just need to chop it up about something. But yeah, I think it's dope. You always gonna get your trolls or whatever you want to call them. But for the most part, it's a good energy.
Yeah, yeah, I feel the same way. I'm always like, I I don't feel like people do what I do. That's one, and secondly, like I'm not hurting myself promoting somebody else. You know what I'm saying? If I like the music, I'm posting it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If it's somebody I rock with, I'm retweeting it. I mean, that's just it. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that good energy, it just works out well for you when you're doing good things and you're being a genuine person. Like things just tend to fall in your lap. Like that's just how it works.
Right.
So yeah, no issue with supporting people. I just think that's the thing to do. I'm like that in real life.
So yeah, I think what I learned about you guys through Know It All. You know, I love new artists, and I know he's going to post somebody I haven't heard of before, and I would just like, who is this? Oh, he's an artist. Or go, through the chat, everybody's talking, and I'm like, Patty Honcho, that sounds like an artist. I'm finna go hit their page and see what the hell
Right.
they sound like. So I think it's dope the way that the way that y'all work together, because whether you know it or not, well, because we don't see every tweet.
Right.
So a lot of times it's because somebody else, one of your peers, retweeted what you
Hmm.
tweeted, that it hits a timeline. So I think it's dope that y'all do that for each other.
Right.
And I think the first was Road to 40, right? Nums, was that?
Yes.
I
Yep.
think that's the first thing that I heard from you, and I got it off of a thread from Ruben from Check the Rhyme.
Right. Yeah.
And
Shout out to Ruben.
yeah, he's great at promoting and getting people's work out there. But
Thanks.
as that when it comes to like, because we talked about how you left, you weren't rapping, and then you came back.
Right.
How was that at the age that you are? Like how were there challenges, or did you hit any roadblocks being, an older artist? I don't want to say older, but I mean, you know what I mean. Not in like a negative way, but like were there roadblocks or challenges coming back or anything like that?
Nah, not really. It's like I had a block or no interest in doing music, and then I had it again, and it was just like it's still coming out. You know what I'm saying? So as far as challenges, no, because I feel like all the best rappers in rap right now are in my age bracket. I mean, people I love, like Sky Zoo, Ransom, uh, Conway,
Hmm.
all those guys, and there's dope younger rappers too. But I think what people don't understand, I'm looking at Neville's question too. Like I think like hip hop is like a super young genre, right? So like when I was in my 20s, like if somebody was rapping at 40, I probably thought they were old then. I'm not gonna hold you on that, but I think now like hip hop's like not even 50 years old. So like it's not like playing a sport where you're gonna like lose your athleticism. If anything, you should be getting better and sharper. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As long as you live in life, and doing things the right way. But like I wouldn't say they're. I would say no. I think it made me better. I think if anything, I think it was easier because I just had so many different experiences. From the time I left off rap till I came back. So I think it was pretty easy actually.
Right, right. And I think I heard that story once. Was it Abel Mary that brought you back, or was how who kind of got you back on the game?
Yeah, Abel Mary. So we had him on the podcast. We got the Great Minds um podcast. We had him on, and he had an album. I mean, you know how many projects Abel got. I can't even remember the name of the one he had out, but because that dude is just on the next level. But we already know that. But
Hmm.
but anyway, he had something, and it was just really hitting me. You know, and I was just like, I was saying to myself, like, if I were to rap, I would be like in this lane, and then I just hit him, like I sent him some old music, and then he was just kind of like, if if he said like, yo, this is trash, like maybe I'm not even rapping right now, but he was just like, yo, this is dope. Um, we should do a song, you know, and then the song led to Raise the Bar 1, and then we got Raise the Bar 2 and 3, and led to
Right.
me kind of just doing my own thing from there. So yeah, definitely him, man. That's my brother for real. Um, and Abel's just like, and just like, Abel's like a real dude. Like, I had a 40th birthday party. Like, he drove up from Virginia and drove home the same night just to show love. So, um, I mean, he's legit, just
Word.
on all levels.
So, who are some of y'all's influences?
Um, I would say Jay-Z, you know, that early mid Kanye.
Hmm.
Um, the Nas and a lot of these people, Ransom. Yeah. Uh, I could keep going. It's a lot of names.
Yeah, I would say definitely Jay Z. Definitely Kanye, who was my favorite artist for a very long time. Just from even like he made me, before I started producing, he made me like really want to dig into the weeds of producing, as far as like where stuff are sampled from and stuff like that. Because I grew up listening to oldies, and he was a big, he sampled a lot of that stuff. When I first started rapping, Havoc, who, I mean, it's a it's a not popular opinion, who I prefer over Prodigy. Um, it was just something about Havoc that I really enjoyed. Um, Nas, of course,
Hmm.
and right now, like Sky Zoo and Ransom are two of my favorites um, to listen to right now, who I'm I guess influenced by to a degree.
What's interesting is go
No, go
ahead.
ahead, Nip. No. Go.
I was gonna say what's interesting about we interviewed Sky Zoo a while, I don't know, a couple months ago. Sky Zoo, interesting with him was he was saying that probably only one or two more albums left. When we talk about like ageism, he was saying that one or two more albums left the most, and then he would like to step off because he was saying that this is a young man's sport, X, Y, and Z. So
Man.
it's interesting to hear your take. You know what I mean? From one of your quote unquote heroes. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he said
Yeah,
that.
that's crazy.
I'm surprised he said that.
Because I'll
But
go. I think because he's saying that he'd been in it so long, like what,
right,
it's 15 years. He was saying like he went from the time of giving out CDs for free when there was CDs right in front of shows, posting up to then getting signed, going independent, doing everything. And I think he was just saying like I've done so much that really the
yeah,
ghostwriting and the script writing is kind of where he wants to more go, like the behind the scenes.
right. No,
Uh,
I kind of understand that. Like, if anything, he's probably maybe he's just tired of the whole grind of it. Um, but yeah,
family, kids, too. I
yeah,
think.
family, kids. I know he just had his son. Like, we actually had him on the podcast too. Like, when we early on, so he's definitely like a crazy, cool, transparent guy. But yeah, I can. I mean, now that you explain it that way, I can see that. I can see that being like him being tired.
Now, last question, I guess, about like age, because there's such an age gap between the two of you, right? Numbz and Pat. I mean, damn near indirectly, you could be Patty Pops and all that,
Yeah, if I was
right?
getting in there early, if I
Indirectly.
was getting in there early enough, for sure.
So real talk. I hope we don't use this as a short. Don't use this as a short, Morgan. But what do you think of some of the jewels that you can pass on to him as a youth come as a younger artist coming up into this, and vice versa, Patty? What do you think you bring to the table towards Numbz? That we don't get to hear, whatever that you could put him onto as a I'll say young bloomer, for lack of a better term. What do you think? How do you think the age works out for you too? Because it's almost 2 decades, right?
Yeah, yeah. You want to go, P?
Yeah, I already learned some good things from Numbs, like, based on what he said about the rollout and things like that. I love his ear for beats and samples, and his crate digging is crazy. So, yeah, this definitely not gonna be our last project. I'm gonna continue to learn more from him. And what I bring to the table, man, bars. You feel me? That's basically it, bars. And yeah, I'm here to help him whatever, if when it comes to social media or whatever the case may be as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I try. It's crazy. The age gap is what it is, but it truly doesn't feel like that. That's the other part of it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like I feel like a lot of things I would tell someone his age, like I don't even have to tell him because he's so mature. You know, like some of these people in his age group, like you got to really tighten up. Like yo, you moving this way, you moving that way. Like he just doesn't do that. So I don't really like I don't I would like if I seen him moving foul or if he had like a crazy tweet or something, I would
Right.
certainly be like, yo, you should probably take that down or something like that. So
Mhm.
honestly, it's kind of hard to say, but I like I said, I did try to, just try to be an assistance of like when we should do certain things as far as the rollout, but like there was just no resistance because he was just kind of like, all right, you
Yeah.
know, and everything's been working out, and I don't know if y'all seen the rollout. We got a single coming out Tuesday, which is gonna be crazy.
Yes. Single featuring Know It All.
Hold on, yeah.
Tell them the name.
It's called Don't Tell Me How to Make My Album.
Yo, that's a
That's
dope
right. That's
title.
right. That's right. I remember seeing that now.
But I
I
love it
low
because
key, I low key feel some type of way. I think y'all talking to me.
nah, you know what it is, and Patty has his own story, so I'm not going. I'll let him say what he has to say about that part. But I think like as an artist, like people, like we're very sensitive, right? So it's like I hear people say about like Ransom, like, oh, he sounds the same way all the time. He says like all rappers do, like he's not gonna just start rapping like Twister. That's not what he does.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like Jadakiss, like we all love Jadakiss, but like Jadakiss has thousands of classic verses, but you heard them all before, just in different words. But I don't care because I enjoy what he does. He's great at it.
Exactly.
So I think what I got from, like I said, Patty has his own story. What I got from it is just like, yo, like this is what I do. I'm good at it. Me personally, and I've tweeted this and I said it a lot. I make music for Numbz. I make music for Numbz. I don't make music for anybody else because the way I look at it is, if I make music that I love, I make music that I'm comfortable with. Worst case scenario, I made new music I can vibe with. Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, people feel you. Like that's bonus.
Right.
Like like a lot of us, most people aren't gonna make a living off rap. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you start making the music for yourself and when you start um doing the music you want to do, like people are gonna resonate with that. There's music that I despise. There's music that I think is whack, but there's a fan base for it. I don't care how whack I think it is. Like the artist has just got to find that niche. You know what I'm saying? But I felt him when he told me the name of the song. I loved it. I was like, this is perfect.
Yep. That's that.
Yeah,
With the title.
if Lil Pump can find the audience, anybody can.
Exactly.
I don't even know who that is, but that sounds crazy.
Who
Hey,
came
Patty,
with
you
the
gotta tell the story.
title?
Yeah,
Was
we
it
want to hear
you,
that.
Patty, or was it not? Because it does sound like a know-it-all title, but I might be wrong.
Nah, it was-
Patty?
He is perfect for this song. So when he
Yeah,
told me
it sound like him.
yeah. So I started writing a song. Basically, I was just on the train and I don't know. I put the beat on and that's just how I was feeling. Like how people just always critiquing and things like that, and people that's not even artists, basically, right? So I wrote the song with no intention, like no like intention behind it of being aimed at a specific story. Let me say, and later on in the week, we was in the Twitter Spaces and somebody was like, "Oh, I don't like how Patty rap because he only do punchlines and he don't be like telling stories and he don't rap about his life basically and shit like that." And which I do have songs like that. They not listening, but but I was just like at the end I'm like I never heard a song by this person. You feel me? That's how I'm feeling. Like at the end of the day, it's like who are you type shit. But
Was it an artist?
it was an artist though. Yeah, the dude is an artist.
Damn.
Yeah, but that just I already had the hook, but I ain't have the verse, and then that shit happened, and I ended up writing a verse like immediately and shit like that. And I knew, and then Know It All was on Twitter tweeting about Rhyme Zone and shit, and he got a lot of traction about rappers that use
I remember
Rhyme
that.
Zone. Yeah, he got a lot of traction about that shit, and I already knew. I feel like I sort of already knew I wanted to Know It All for it before the Rhyme Zone shit, but after that shit happened, I was like, yeah, nah, I
Yeah,
gotta get Know It All on this joint for
You
sure.
should put that in. Here I go. Right, you should. Maybe that should be in brackets. Rhyme zone. You know how they have the title, then they put in brackets like the alternate name for the song. Maybe we should call it Rhyme Zone and alternate names. Like this should help inspire this joint.
Shit, crazy.
Like
it was
Troy to
perfect
reminisce
because
over you.
like No Doubt was like legitimately like ranting on the song. Like that's how I felt when I
He's
heard it.
funny.
And he's like that was almost like a 16 bar therapy session for him.
Yeah.
From the last line. The last line is hysterical. But yeah, y'all hear that on the 14th. But yeah,
Yeah.
Stop looking at me. That's
yeah,
my
that stop
joint.
staring joint.
That's
Yeah, I
Right.
stop
love
staring.
that joint. Stop staring at me. That's
Yeah,
my
Crazy.
joint.
so he definitely delivered for sure.
I the reason I'm so tickled is because y'all's group put out a list.
Oh.
You talking about the spaces list?
Yo, can y'all tell the people like the name of the crew, the name of y'all? I guess what is it? Because we didn't get that before. What's the name of the support crew that Morgan talks about on Twitter?
Well, we don't have like a specific name right now. We are working on like a collective album. I would say that with a bunch of rappers and
That's awesome.
a couple producers. Yeah, I don't know how long that's gonna take, but
Probably this year.
We'll be here for
More
it.
than
It's all right. We'll wait.
More than
yeah.
likely
Don't
this year.
don't come up with a name. Don't let them YSL y'all.
Oh man,
Oh man.
crazy.
You know, black people name a group, they all of a sudden a gang. So you better watch.
All right.
Nah, yeah, man,
The
but
name of the crew is
yeah,
We
we
Are Not
working on
Again.
something though for sure.
Yeah, that's some weirdo shit.
We
Uh,
definitely we working though.
yeah, I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear that album just to make sure he was like SP. If you ask me where my record is one more time, I'm notorious, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting. What is going on? Well, I don't have no record yet. It's already the summer. You last dropped in like the winter. I'm waiting.
You talked about like critiquing from people who don't make music, but like when you make something, and it sounds like maybe you two actually kind of might send stuff back and forth for like feedback. I mean, do you get feedback before you put anything out? Is there someone special that you always go straight towards?
Right. I feel like me. I send music to Numbz, like the whole project. Obviously, I was sending it to him and seeing what was gonna make the project and stuff like that. But I'll be sending stuff to Black Shadori a lot of the times, and um, and I show my friends stuff too. My three brothers, I'll be showing them stuff. But I feel like I'm not showing nobody nothing if it's whack. Like I already know what's hard. I already know what's fire. I know what's fire already. Like regardless if you like it that much or not, if I'm showing you it in my eyes, it's fire enough to come out. So
Right.
I'm gonna drop it anyways. But I'm just showing it to you to see a reaction really. But regardless of how you react, I'm gonna drop it anyways.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same to me. I sent Abel everything about. I sent him everything before I drop. Furious, I sent him a bunch of stuff too. Now that me and him working on the album now, I sent him everything. But yeah, I feel the same way. It's kind of like unless one of them say something noticeable, you know what I'm saying, or
Right.
saying like, maybe you could have done this on a hook, or like, yo,
Exactly.
you should add a hook here, or you should do something like that. Like obviously I'll take that into consideration. But for the most part, I'm like, yo, listen to this dope song I just did.
Right. And
you know,
that's the main reason why I do send it to Black or somebody like I'll ask Black, yo, you think such and such will sound good on this?
right?
And it'll be like, yeah. And send something to Numbs like, how this sound, is the vocals good or whatever the case may be, and yeah, like stuff like that.
I think that's dope. And just a PSA to everybody who's listening. When you send people music, send them your best shit. Don't DM people with whack ass shit and be like, "What you think of my album?" Because then when you tell them what you think of the album, then they feel some type of way. But don't
Right.
be don't be sending half ass done shit and then be like, you expect 5 mics. That's
Mm-mm.
5 mics is, you know, a rarity. It shouldn't be something that's just tossed about,
I feel the same way.
willy nilly.
Right.
I feel the same way. Like I feel like, and maybe I don't like critics that don't rap because I like when I'm a tough critic on myself. Like, you feel me? Like, um, when I hear a verse and it's like mediocre and people be saying it's classic, or an album, let's say, that's mediocre and they call it classic, it's like I just don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, they be giving anything 5 mics nowadays. It's kind of crazy. It
Right.
really is.
Yep. Same thing.
Yeah, I know I'm still getting Saha the Prince bullshit right now.
Yeah. Crazy.
I don't give a damn because it was mad mid. I don't give a fuck if you get mad at me for saying that. It wasn't the best, and that's okay because
Right.
I know what he do. You
Yeah, that's a
know when you
fact.
know what they do, you just can't be like that was 5 mics. No, it wasn't. Not it's not even 5 mics for the shit that you made before.
Hmm.
It ain't even 5 mics of your earlier shit.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, I hate that shit. And I hate when people talk about it's a classic album and you only listen to it twice. How you know?
It's been out for 2 hours.
If
Right.
we don't talk
Yeah,
about
that's
this
crazy
album in
too.
5 years, then your album was not classic.
Yeah.
Right.
That definitely got to come with a timestamp.
Right.
Yeah. It got to be, you can't just say it's a classic because it's not until 5 years from now. If I'm still talking about Kendrick album, then Kendrick album is a classic.
Right.
But I ain't seen nobody say shit about that album since it came out after the first
So,
three days, and then once they discovered the song with the girl on there. But other than that, I ain't heard shit about that album. You can't just declare shit a classic. Get the fuck out of here.
OSP. Um,
I said what I said.
we wouldn't have you any other way, SP.
Right.
So like, would you say so? Like, we would talk about the pandemic a lot because that's huge. It's still going on. But have you guys had the chance to like get out and do any kind of performance in front of anybody, either before or now?
I've performed before, but as far as after the pandemic, I haven't performed on stage. I want to though. I definitely want to. So, we're gonna work towards that.
Yeah. I don't at the moment. I really don't have a desire to. Now, if it's something that gets me off of my seat, like and it works out, and it's like a true demand for it, I would certainly consider it. But right now, I'm cool.
What kind of any other like dream collabs do you guys have? Either with producers or other MCs.
Dream collabs. Um, Word, that's a good one. I would say like I would love to collab with Just Blaze one time. Like, what I mean, rap on a Just Blaze beat, that Patterson connection. That'll be dope.
Yeah.
As far as rapper, somebody from Jersey like a Ransom too.
Yep.
Like, that'll be crazy.
Yeah. I would say probably Ransom, maybe Sky Zoo. On the production side, probably Apollo Brown. That's
Mm,
somebody I would really
Pablo
want to
Brown crazy.
want to tap in with.
So, um, on the artist side, on the spitter side, who would you want to tap in with?
Ransom and Sky. Are you?
Oh, for me, definitely.
Both.
Yeah, definitely Ransom. And if anybody else, it'll probably be like a. I want to do like a whole tape with Jr. That'll be like that's one of my. I love to do some shit like that, but you know, kind of far fetched, but I love to do that shit.
And oh, sorry, so did you want to go?
No, so I was just gonna tell them to add Ray West to their producer list because I think y'all would sound fire on a Ray West produced joint.
Yeah, I gotta check them out.
Word.
And what I was going to ask was, when it comes to making projects, do you, for either one of you, do you prefer is it like doing a full project with one producer, or lots of features, not minimal features, or doing just single tracks with separate producers? How does your processes go with that? Like, what's your preference?
Right. So, what I prefer is just locking in with one producer. I definitely like doing that more. Um, I started off basically like when I started dropping music, it was like with one producer, sort of. So I'm more comfortable with that. I don't usually get much features because I like to rap, so I'll rap on most of the songs. But I do have this one project coming up with Green, the Black Exploitation tape, and I want to have a feature on every song for that joint. But this Life project, that's the most features I've gotten on any of my projects. So yeah.
I would say, like now, I think I like to lock in one producer. On that side, I like to do. I mean, I'll do individual beats for people. Um, if the artist is kind of like I don't want to fully lock in a full project with a person I'm kind of like on the fence with, because you are fully attached to the project then. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I like the one producer thing. I mean, I can speak to it from both sides. Like I got one coming with Furious later this summer. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Like we met on June 1st last year. We've spoken every single day since then. Like whether it's through text, whether it's about family, whether like I'm FaceTiming him and I'm talking to his daughter, like, whatever. Um, because I think uh, like we build this, like you just build this, like this bond. Like the first time working with Furious, like he would send me beats and I'd be like, I'd be like, not that one. Like he's like 9 for 10 right now. He already knows. Like that's how in sync we are. And going back to Patty, like this wasn't just like emailing beats.
Right.
It was just like, and he was honest. Like if he didn't like a beat, he was just like, all right, let's keep digging. Like, all right, cool. And I totally understand that because as an MC, I'm the same way. Like I'm not just gonna settle for a beat. And like some beats are dope, but it's just not for you. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Just kind of how it is. But I would say I prefer to be one producer and also lock in with one. As far as features, I don't really have a preference. I never want to have like more than like 3 or 4, depending on how long the project is. A one man band, I just had Patty on there, but it's just really like when I'm listening to the song or I'm listening to a beat, and I just kind of be like, I think this person would be dope on. And that's just kind of how I go through it.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to have a lot of features on the album called One Man Band.
Right, right.
Yeah, how was that actually? How was that producing and rapping on that? Like was that difficult? Like, did you find any difficult at all without having, because normally you would have someone going over it with you when you're doing it all yourself? Was there?
It wasn't really difficult. I thought it would be. The only difficult part was like when I was going through this process, I was getting better as a producer weekly. just like learning different things and stuff like that. So the only thing that was difficult, it was just kind of like, nah, I want to switch this beat because this beat is way more, way better than the beat I recorded on 2 weeks ago. So it was just like, some songs had three different beats. Um, but no, I liked it because like as an artist, you know exactly what you want. Like you could explain it to a producer as much as you want, and maybe they could get it like 90, 95% there, and you'll just be like, all right, I'll take it. And not that the beat isn't dope, but like as a producer and a rapper, like you can have it exactly how you want it.
Mm.
So
You say that, and we interviewed Jr. Not too long ago, and he said something similar about when it came to like the what's it the mixing of it or whatever, how like he knows how it's supposed to sound, like,
right,
and as
yeah,
a producer, and that like that's so great to hear like someone else bring that up about knowing exactly the sound you want to get, and how sometimes just doing it yourself just works better. Um, but yeah, what I was gonna say is you mentioned Furious Styles, so shout out to Furious. But you have you've been on The Basement, right, Numbz?
yeah, that's the most recent one.
Right, and are we getting a Patty Honcho Basement?
Yeah, we definitely are. I'm not sure how it's lined up, but yeah, me and Furious talk. We gonna get one there. Definitely.
Yeah, I had fun doing that, man, because it was just like I was just rapping, you know what I'm saying. And when I wrote a lot of those, I mean, Farius, he called me like a warlord when I was writing this because it was just like, it was like, if you read it, if you listen to it, it's more some of my more aggressive raps. If you listen to it, as far as, and a lot of that's responding to like stuff I like saw on the timeline, or like somebody pushing a album that wasn't even that nice, and what I'm saying, just like, so a lot of that was a 6 minute therapy session, no hooks, and I just kind of spazzed on that. Some of it kind of
Mhm.
went over to the album a little bit too, so but but yeah, the basement's refreshing, man. I'm looking forward to hearing Patty on there for sure.
Mhm.
So we talk about your music, but I have another question that I am, because I am actually fascinated by this right now. The the Senate committee on the January 6th um, partial takeover of the government.
Hmm.
when when I watch it, all of my blackness come out of me. So have y'all watched any parts of the hearings?
I haven't.
Been too busy writing.
Yeah, and there's the way the news is now and the way articles are. Like you don't even like you run yourself in a circle trying to figure out like
What's
what's
what?
what, what's true, and it's just like,
Mhm.
you know what, I got kids here, man. I'm just trying to hang with my kids, make some music, hang with my wife, watch a TV show. So like I kind of know what's going on like in the peripheral, but like nah, not for me.
Yeah, I'm a fervent believer in paying attention, because I realize that you know we one amendment away from picking cotton, and I just don't trust these people. So I
That's a fact too.
so I watch them like a hawk, because just like they slid that abortion ruling in on their ass. There ain't no telling what they liable to try to slide in under the radar without nobody knowing.
Yeah, that's true too.
Did you have another question, SP?
Yeah, I'm that was just on my mind because
Okay.
yeah, it's been
So,
it's it's been fascinating to me to see the ways that white supremacy will bend and twist and turn in order to um, lift some people up,
Right.
and how much it will bend and twist and turn to push some people down. So it's just been fascinating to me to watch it in action.
No doubt.
Well, I have a question with that. I've been watching it, SP, but I guess with you, with the two of you, do you feel like there's a responsibility for artists to speak on these type of topics, I guess current events or whatever you call it,
Right,
socially
because didn't
conscious,
No,
political?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a requirement. Like I think music and art is like based on feel. Like if you into it and you have something to say about it, then great. Like what Benny did was great. Like Benny is Buffalo, so like in his mind, he had to do that because that's what he's passionate about.
And because I was just trying to piggyback off what you were saying, so I was just asking, do you think that it's artists' responsibility to be like talking about current events, politically conscious,
Oh.
socially conscious, things like that? Like, should that be in the music? Is that a requirement? As Mickey Fax would say, checking boxes.
Um.
No, sorry, not Mickey. My bad.
that's
Royce.
not
Royce.
it
My
was
Royce.
not
bad,
even
Royce.
Royce. You got to get it right. It wasn't even Royce.
Who?
Crook told
Right.
Royce that came from King Kirk.
Oh, and then
Right.
then Royce repeated it.
Yeah, it got
Oh,
popular off Royce,
damn,
I think.
Yeah.
But
damn, he
that was
made a
King
mistake.
Kirk.
As far as that being a requirement, I don't think so. Because you could rap and have great punchlines without talking about what's going on in the world or whatever the case may be. But that's always a plus. Like those lines catch people's ears. People like that type of stuff. So I feel like if you probably can't think of nothing, those are usually like filler joints. Like people just be like, oh, I can't think of nothing real creative. And me think about what's going on. And I'm not. I'm like I do that. Like I'm victim to that. So yeah.
And has like the pandemic, the situations that have happened, like Black Lives Matters, all these all movements that have been taking place, the abortions, like has that seeped into or influenced anything that you're doing? The climate, the current climate of things.
Um. Yeah. That's always gonna be a part of it. Like even before Black Lives Matter was a thing, I was writing about you know just either it was some black positivity or if it was wrongdoings that was done to us. But I always shout out like not so well known black heroes in my raps.
Yeah, he does.
I do that like most like so if I say a name and you don't know who that person is, I mean we always got Google
Hmm.
and that's what I do all the time. Hopefully people get like interested, like who is that? And then they go and then that's Black History. That's a rabbit hole could lead you to something else and even more things like that.
That edutainment, right, Nev? You have to have instead of just
Yeah,
being an educator, you're educating. You put.
Right.
I know when we talk about Royce there. That's what I always think of Royce as is like a because he was always talking about stuff that I have no idea what he's talking about. I have to Google because I'm like, what is even like who is that? But I so that's what's so great about music in general, but like what you guys do with the lyricism and the wordplay, but then like people have to think like it's not music that you you mean you can vibe to it, but like for some part of it it's literally to grow you as a listener and as an artist. So I think that's incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
But like as far as like how you guys are we always talk about like taking care of yourself. Are there ways that you guys invest in yourselves, either like in your health, in just ways that to keep yourself
self care
Yes,
basically.
thank you.
And
Thank you.
it's
Like that.
economically, mentally, spiritually, physically. How do you like take care of yourself?
Thank you,
And
Nick.
invest in
Yep.
yourself?
Um, I exercise a few times a week for sure. I think that just clears my head. It gives me opportunity to just listen to a bunch of stuff, whether it's like stuff I'm working on, other artists to get um inspiration or whatever the case is. Um, I pray. I pray every night. Pray in the morning. When I think of something and like when I see stuff on timelines or just anywhere with people going through stuff, I don't just say like I'm praying for you. Like I do it in that moment. You know what I'm saying? I'll take a couple minutes, even if it's like, 15, 20 seconds just to, say a little something like that. And I try to rest as much as possible too. Like, you know, especially, dealing with the kids, they put you down anyway. But um, you know, I'll say I take care of myself in that way.
Right. Yeah, some of the same similar ways, Um, definitely on more of a spiritual tip, like just meditating and taking that time to myself as well. Just like Nam say, pray twice a day, things like that. Physically, sea moss, black seed oil. But I got to get more back on that. I'm kind of slacking. I ain't gonna lie to you. But things like that, I want to live to 100. You feel me? That's one of my main goals. Like I've been saying that since I was a youngin. It's funny because like Know It All says it too. Like that's one of his goals is he wants to live to 100. You feel me? Like I definitely feel that to the fullest. So yeah, things like that.
We find that we're losing more and more. The these founders, these the foundation, um, and sometimes you kind of feel like maybe there's something within the industry that's not enough. How do you feel about like things that can be done to help support the artists and keep them on the right track, keep them healthy? Are there things that you think that could be put in place as from your perspectives to help people like that?
You know what? When I was thinking, like, I think it was right after Shock G passed, and it was just like a lot of different stuff happening. And I was having a conversation with one of my friends. I was just like, what do you think's happening that they're just, dying in their early 50s? But and a friend of mine had a good point. He was just like, they were on the road for like 10 years, drinking, smoking, and not even having the same, like, I don't want to say resources, but like the same knowledge of like food,
Health. Yeah, health.
health, just in
Exactly.
general. And not
Yeah.
that you have to be vegan or whatever, and that's cool if you are, but just like the health stuff. And then, what I love and what I see happening, you get like guys like Styles that's on like a health kick.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, he's got like his
The juice bars.
got the juice bar in New York. And so I think the knowledge is gonna help. I think the fact that, a lot of people have been dying in their 50, like Craig Mack, Shock
Mm,
G, Black Rob,
mm,
um, DMX. His situation was a little bit different, I feel like, but
yeah.
I think just having the knowledge and sharing that information, I think there's a lot of people doing that now. So I think I'm hoping that we'll see a lot less of that as some of the other rappers start to get to their 50s.
I'm starting to see like the Jim Joneses and all that. They be going to the gym a lot and all that shit.
Right.
And like you said, Styles and hey, people tuned in, bro. Like they you want to live, like people want to live.
Right. So I
Yeah.
think it is. I think
It,
it is happening. Is my thing.
but
Hmm.
to follow up that with one more question, kind of in the health thing, right? How do we? Because this weekend been crazy. I mean, I don't know when this is gonna drop, but this weekend
Oh,
was nuts
Oh
with
my
the. You know
goodness.
what? You already know where I'm going, right?
Yeah, for
How
sure.
do how do we stop? How would we stop that lead poisoning from happening? That drinking in the water, that lead poisoning that's going on out here. It's not funny, but what do you think? What can be done about that? Because they are saying right now, rap is they always say, right, the black man is an endangered species, but right now, rap is a very dangerous sport with real consequences. What's your take on that?
Um, I think a lot of rappers don't. They either don't listen to OGs or they don't have them. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the younger rappers, they grew up in the social media era. So whether they like showing stacks of money or doing whatever, like you making yourself a target. Like, there's people out here that haven't recovered from the pandemic. There's people out here that's just like, trying to make a name for themselves. So I think a lot of it is like how they're moving and who they have around them to give them, good advice or lack thereof. Um, I think that's a big part of it.
like mentorship, sweet people
Oh,
mentor.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and yeah, I feel like social media has a lot to do with it, you know, because yeah, violence like rap violence was happening before, like in the '90s as well, or whatever the case may be. But now, you know, it could be over, you know, the littlest thing, or you know, something that's, you know, nobody should die over stuff like that. And yeah, it's like he said, it's people that they grew up on the social media. Like I always say, like my era, my age group was one of the last to actually grow up going outside playing with toys and
Yeah, drink from the water
drink
hose.
from the water hose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like you know what I mean, things like that. And I had my first phone when I was 13, and it was a flip phone, which is probably crazy to y'all because when y'all was 13, y'all ain't have no phone. I already know that.
Right.
I already know that. You know what I mean? So I had a little flip phone when I was 13. They ain't have no internet, no, I could just call and hang up, like whatever. And there was none of that extra stuff. Now they be having tablets 2 years old, know how to work it better than the parent. Like that's an issue. That's going to continue to be an issue, and you know what I mean. It's going to be an underlying issue until somebody with power address it or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, we've covered something like that before, but how you have to, like, sometimes you have to, um like, the only way to connect with the youth is to get on their level, right? So, like, I mean, we talk about having, like, the iPad era, you know, kids are so young with phones and they're on the computer and their screen time is just outrageous. But at a certain point, I mean, don't you feel like you have to kind of meet them somewhere? Like, that's the age that they're growing up in. Because I know I'm 32, but so I'm not. I feel like I'm in the middle here, but
Mm-hmm.
you're always on the edge of, like, needing the technology and wanting to stay with tradition. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, you know, it all has a lot to do with moderation, right?
Right.
So my daughter didn't have her phone until she was in high school. And even then she could only be on it um an hour after she got out of school. Then she had to do her homework and whatever, and school, take her shower, eat dinner, all of that stuff, and then she could have her phone back for 2 more hours until 10 o'clock, and then everybody's phone goes off, even mine. I take it and I put them in the only place you could charge your phone was in the kitchen.
Hmm.
So if you wanted to use the phone, you was gonna have to make a walk to the kitchen to go get the phone, and I would hear you because you had to pass my room.
SP had it on lock.
So I mean, you have to make the decision that you're going to be the parent, and it doesn't matter if they get mad at you. I
Right.
don't give a shit about you being mad. I give a shit about you being
Safe.
a productive adult.
Right.
You know, somebody who's going to be additive into the world. So sometimes you have to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
I
Like I,
understand that.
yeah, I certainly think you do have to meet them somewhere. I mean,
Yeah.
it's part of reality, and like a lot of times, like they have to be able to use this type of stuff to possibly communicate with you too, depending on how old they are, whatever the case is. But yeah, like if I feel like it's too much or um stuff going on, and like yeah, you got to set the limits. Like all right, we doing it this time at this here's the time, and then that's it. You know, and just keeping an eye on what they're doing too.
And I think it's good for adults to do it with themselves too,
True.
to put a limit on the time that you're on social media, because it can drive you crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can drive you crazy because people aren't people aren't as polite as they used to be.
Right. No
So let
doubt.
me ask you guys something. Um, the name of the show is Powerful Impact. So, who are the three most influential people who provided a powerful impact in your life? We'll start with Patty.
Um, I would say my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
my mother, and the third one always hard. uh, I don't know. It really there's no third. Like I'm, not to be difficult with the answer, but it's not. It's really no third. Like my grandmother was like the father figure sort of with the sternness, and then my mother was my mother. So other than that, it's not really anybody else that really influenced me or inspired me to be the person who I am. It was really them two. It wasn't no celebrity. I never admired no celebrity. Like ever since I was a kid, I never had that admiration for anybody. So if it's my grandmother and my mother for sure.
Right. So I would say my mother, um, she's just like, the strongest person I know. I lost my pops at 7 to unfortunate circumstances, what I call it. Um, and she just held it down for my brother and me. My brother definitely was just always protective over me, and like he just put me up on a lot of like, he's 7 years older, but like a lot of the music and stuff we still speak every day, stuff like that. And third person growing up, I had a basketball coach my senior year of high school that was like he was always like buying us stuff as far as like food and stuff like that. And he, even when we would try to pay for stuff, he would just be like, no, do it for the next person. You know what I'm saying? So I always, if I'm with someone younger or something like that, I always think about that when, whether I'm going out to lunch with somebody,
Right.
he was just like, the money you didn't have to pay for this person, just pay it to somebody else. Don't ever try to pay. So it was just like it was stuff like that, and just like paying it forward is what I always took from him, and we still in contact today. So that's probably the three that I can think of.
That's dope.
So Nums, what do you want your legacy to be? Not just as a hip hop artist, but also as a man.
Just a person that was like genuine, selfless, um, creative, like an artist that didn't let the trends or whatever affect how I do things. Um, and just stand up guy.
And Patty.
Um, you know, I would love to just go down as a genuine person when anybody asks and when you ask anybody about me, I want them to tell you how genuine I am. I will hope to become like a great father, grandfather someday, and just continue to be building on this artistry that I'm building on right now.
For sure.
Okay, Morgan, do you have any more questions?
No,
No lightning round today.
no, not lightning round today.
Nev, how about you?
No, no, no. I'm good.
All right. So thank you both so much for coming on. Um, I know a lot of places you go, they talk about your music, but I think it's also important that people get to know you as a man and as a human being, because as a fan, as a fan of music and as a fan of you guys, it's always important to me to feel some kind of connection, because it makes you want people to win. Like
Right.
I want both of you to win.
Appreciate
Every
that.
time y'all drop something like, this might be the one. This might be the one. That's how my mind thinks down here in Texas. Like this gonna be the one that puts them on. So just know that your work is not in vain. There are actual people in this world who are listening, and we are listening well. And we want nothing but the best for both of you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate you.
this is certainly one of those ones. I hope it take off like you hoping it will. It certainly deserves to, Patty. Patty, like the jump he made on this album is just like astronomical. I'm super proud. I'm super proud of him. I'm proud to be a part of it. Really.
Any shout outs, any promotions? Let people know where they can contact you at, and tell them what else you got coming up, and promote your old stuff, because your catalog is deep and disgustingly dope.
I
Tell
was
them where they can get your shit from.
all right. So on IG, I'm Numbz Music, Numbz with the Z. Twitter at Numbz16, the number. And then all my links and stuff are up there. Obviously, we got the album Life coming on June 24th, which is on our birthday. We also gonna do a Bandcamp drop for anybody that wants to support that way, or stream whatever you want to do. And then for me on the artist side, I have an album I'm dropping with Furious Styles. We about 90% done. That'll be dropping in August.
Dope. Patty?
So Instagram Patty Honcho, just written regularly, and Twitter is Patty_Honcho. Patty_Honcho on TikTok, and we got Don't Tell Me How to Make My Album featuring Know It All coming out June 14th, and the Life album coming June 24th. And other than that, any future joints, I think I'm dropping like 2 or 3 more projects this year for me for the tail end of the year. So, we'll see, but yeah.
So everybody, don't forget to check out their music. Don't just stream it. Drop a few bucks. The studio costs money. Making them beats costs money.
For sure.
Taking the time out to put them verses down on see this, I'm finna tell you my age. Putting them verses down on wax costs money. Y'all go ahead and purchase their stuff, and hey, support the music that you want to hear. This is SP with Powaful Impak. I want you to follow, like, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell just to hear some of the dope content coming out. Make sure you check out Patty Honcho and Numbz. I'm gonna put the links in the description. Nev?
Hey, go out there and make a powerful impact. Don't be no slouch.
Boom.
All right, Powaful Impak.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.